Right, guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, Tom and I are going to be talking about how we added $5,000 in additional monthly reoccurring revenue to our agency this week. So, Tom, how do we do it?
Right, well, it wasn't simple, mate. Nothing is. But we did add an additional 5K a month to our agency. So how do we do it? We've won 4 additional clients.
Across a range of industries. I think that's important to say.
Yeah, they're not in a niche. They are just, so they could not be any more different. They really, really couldn't. So we're not going to focus on all of them. I just want to talk people through the one of them that we won, which is, it was just quite a unique way of winning it. So I think people would find that quite interesting, just to learn what was said, some of the objections that they actually gave me, which I'm always prepared for objections, you know me, but how I dealt with them. Some of the things I actually said in this meeting to win it. And I think so if you're listening to this, you might want to listen all the way through, because I am going to give some things out that you can use and it will go in your favor. So we have one additional 5K over 4 different clients. One of them in particular, it's a retaining fee of £1,000 a month. So that's what, $1,200, mate, a month. Not maybe at the minute, maybe like $1,100. So $1,100 in our agency per month. Now, in terms of the service we're offering, just to throw it out there, we're offering lead gen, bit of email marketing, and we're throwing in a bit of socials, like some social activity too, right? Which me and you pick up, Harry. Our sales, we get that sorted. So in terms of tasks, it's pretty straightforward stuff for me and you. To other people who are starting out, it's quite, I can imagine that's like, shit, email marketing, and how are you going to do all this? We're not going to go into the detail of what we're doing. This is really about what we said in the meeting to win it. Okay. But I did want people to, first of all, understand what we're actually offering, because I know the comments we'll get is, what service did you offer? Was it this? Was it that? And we need to clear that up straight away.
Yeah.
So how did the lead come about, Harry? I'll let you pick up that bit.
So this particular lead, you saw them advertising it was like a billboard, wasn't it? Around where you live. And Tom and I do this
on the roundabout.
And Tom and I do this all the time. We'll see a van that we're following in the car, write the phone number down. We'll see someone advertising on a billboard or on a bus stop or in a local magazine. We've done a video on that, on the laziest way to
That's a good one.
sign clients in the 2 videos ago. So if you've not watched that, watch that. And we just write them down and then cold call them, or get our team to cold call them, because we know they're advertising. We can do a little bit of research to see they're not very hot on social media. So we know that's a really easy way in. So Tom saw a billboard, cold called them, and then booked the meeting using our cold call strategies, etc. So we saw a billboard, cold called them, booked a meeting, had to rearrange the meeting once because they weren't available, but that's fine. And then Tom, you went in person to go see them.
I did. So that is well summed up. Now, obviously, I've got the luxury of going in person. Now, going in person is so effective. But that's not luck. That's because they were on my doorstep. There's lots of businesses on everyone's doorstep. So if you see, like Harry just said, a van, or it's in your local area, make a note of it, because that gives you the upper hand where you can be like, I'll just pop in, or I'm in the area, I'll swing by. You can pull loads and loads of different things like that. Anyway, long story short is, I managed to say, look, I'll just swing by, and is a 3-minute, not even drive. It's probably a 3-minute walk from my house. Ridiculous. Didn't even know they were there until I saw the sign on the roundabout. 2 business owners. Okay. And I'll tell you what, we can say the niche, Harry.
Yeah.
We might as well.
Yeah.
So it's a independent kitchen fitter. So the work they do is phenomenal, seriously high end. Average value for one sale, I think he said minimum 20K. So big stuff. So went in there, I met 2 business owners. They were both used to work for a different company. They now have formed together as an alliance and rolled out their business and fit kitchens and have lots of different contractors who do work for them. And they've got a nice little business going on. They turn over just shy of $1 million a year. So in terms of qualifying the customer, I knew that anywhere between 500K plus is a good benchmark. I know that they can afford me and Harry. And it's high ticket enough. Anyway, so get to the meeting. And just to literally, I want to make this really, really super real for people. I park up, they're expecting me. I rung ahead. Seriously important to do this. If a client has asked to meet you on Zoom or they've asked to meet you in person, whatever, say that they agreed on Monday and your appointment is on Thursday, always check in at least twice. So on Monday, they've confirmed, great. Wednesday, you want to check with them, hey, are you still on for Thursday, tomorrow? Just checking in. If you've not heard, you want to do not go anywhere or do anything until you've heard, particularly if it's in person. Long story again on that is I had confirmation twice from them that they're going to be there. I rung them, said, are we still on? Yeah, swing by. Great. I rock up, they're there, they make me a cup of tea, they're very welcoming. And more importantly, mate, they're prepared, aren't they? That's the big thing. That's a big win. They're prepared for a discussion about marketing and marketing their business. So walk in. Now, I walk into this, and it is a kitchen showroom. I don't think I've even explained this to you, have I, mate?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
So I'm walking in, it's a giant kitchen in the middle of a warehouse because it's like a showroom. So we're walking in and we sit at this beautiful breakfast bar, stools, lovely sink, and it's just high end. I'm sat in the middle of a warehouse in a kitchen, really, really bizarre. And I get the laptop out. I don't do anything with the laptop at first. We all just sit down and we're just talking about my business, how I came to where we are. I take a massive interest to them as people. We're talking about how their business is getting on and some of the struggles, what the pandemic was like for them. We're just chewing the shit. That's what we call it. So
that's such an important part of the meeting, isn't it? That is
correct.
That is such an important part of the meeting, because in a previous video, we've spoke about how to build authority in a meeting. And that initial 20 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes, not necessarily building authority, but building common ground and respect with the person you're talking to. If you go in and don't have that small talk, and and that is almost a skill. If you're an introverted, shy person, you're going to have to develop that skill to have just a normal conversation, even if it's nothing about marketing, and you slowly start to introduce the business. That's how you're going to build that common ground, respect, and almost like that kind of friend aspect, isn't it? Not like a friend, but do you know what I mean? Like,
it's rapport building. It's trust building, it's rapport building, and it's a chance for them to see you as a person and you see them as a person, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
and like Harry said, it's absolutely crucial. You've got to warm up the oven. You literally have to warm up the oven. So a lot of that happened. That's rapport building. It's great. Then but with all these meetings, you have to make sure you're steering them to the right direction. You could talk shit all morning, but we only had an hour, and I've got other things I do have to get on with, believe it or not. So I had to steer it. So we're there, and we're all talking, and I had to say to them, right, guys, before we get going, I want to just lay out the fact that this is a presentation, but let's just talk through it. I've got things I want to ask you. You've got things you want to ask me. Don't wait to the end. It's informal. If there's things in this presentation that you don't understand, let's just talk. It's no issue. So they were like, yeah, great. And to be honest, at this point, I had a presentation up on my laptop. So the laptop is here. All right. We've got a guy here, me here. So the laptop is kind of in the middle of a 3. Okay. So everyone can see the screen. I had it on full screen, and all I had to do was tap the arrow on my laptop and the next slide went. Okay. Now this isn't done on PowerPoint. It was done on Canva. And there's a video coming out from us about how to use Canva within the job you do. But you can use Canva, save it as a PDF, and that PDF can then be viewed as full screen. And I just had a full screen PDF on my laptop. Simple as that. All pre-prepared. Okay. So it's on there. I get through the first slide, second slide, and I'm not sticking by the words. We're just talking about really about their business and our business. Some of the people that I work with, I went straight in with a case study on my presentation. And if we're not going to share the presentation unless you're a student in our academy, but one of the first things we do is say to people, look, we have a client who is this, and they are based here. These are the results we're getting, and it's working successfully.
And we also have ways that if you don't have those testimonials and you don't have those case studies, how to get around them. So if you're sat there thinking, I'm never going to sign a client, I don't have a case study, I don't have testimonials, you absolutely can.
Yeah. Very good point. There's loads of ways to get around that. And we cover that in past videos on YouTube. So yeah, so that's what we went into. Our presentation, Harry, is what, 6 slides? 6 slides. I wouldn't say it's even more than that.
Sometimes it depends on the client. Sometimes it's longer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's longer.
Yeah. So the one I delivered particularly on this occasion was 6 slides, literally. So we had a case study in there. We talked about the services we offer. And like I said, we're offering email marketing, lead gen, and a bit of social. When I say a
Sales
bit of
funnels.
social, yeah, and sales funnels. So sales funnels comes under the lead gen, but we will be taking people to a funnel that's been created that looks great, and we direct them for one purpose, and that's to get their information and get them out. So if you don't understand sales funnels, you can YouTube us or YouTube other people. That's not for today, but it's pretty straightforward stuff. So went through the whole thing. Now, during this, the interesting thing is they had a lot of questions. Now, some people are like, shit, did they? Yeah, they did. And that's brilliant. And the reason that's brilliant, Harry, is because when we get a lot of questions,
it's just a massive buying signal. If people are asking you questions, they're asking you, oh, like, for example, the one I love, oh, I've got loads of images. How am I going to get them over to you? If they weren't thinking of working with you, they're not going to be thinking of those questions.
Exactly. Harry's nailed it. Yeah. So all of it is buying signal. Any question is a buying signal. Like, how can I pay your fee? Buying signal. Like, what do you need from me? Buying signal. Because what they're doing is, it's like anything, unless you're interested, no one asks any questions about anyone or anything unless they're interested. Okay. So it's a massive buying signal. So they started to ask questions. And I was thinking, good, this means they're serious and they can picture me working with them. So we talked about, in terms of questions they asked, I'll actually tell you a few of them. One was, what do they need from, what do I need from them, and how much time is it going to take them to give me what I need? And we'd actually, on that particular occasion, we're talking about content. So I said, look, me and you will post out content for them, do a bit of social media management. That's not a standard offer me and Harry give. However, we lock it in as part of a major proposal, because it's easier, Harry, isn't it, when you're offering more service for the same fee?
And you can kind of
sacrificing the time.
You can kind of judge we kind of use it as a bargaining chip. Like, if we can get the deal over the line without social media management, then we will. But if we need to use it to get the deal over the line, right, we'll manage your socials as well. Some clients really see value in it. Some clients don't. And we're kind of, we see the value in social media management. Everyone needs to have a social media presence. Everyone needs to be posting content. But some clients see social media management as a direct ROI on their business, whereas some just do it for the sake of doing it, which is kind of how we see it in a weird way. For at least for local businesses, posting isn't going to bring you in loads and loads of business.
None, really.
For majority of businesses. Obviously, if your business goes viral, that's a completely different story. Like, if you've got a local, I've seen local like paving businesses or local artificial turf businesses, they go viral on TikTok for like 200,000 followers. Yes, that you're going to get loads of business there. But for the average person, posting static images on Instagram isn't going to get you to that stage. So it really is just for that social proof when people check you out. So we do just throw it in to get the deal over the line. Yeah,
and it helps in terms of a time-saving exercise for the business owner too, because either they're doing it or someone else is doing it. And if we throw it in, it just makes their life a bit easier. So the ROI is not financial, it's time. Okay. So we threw that in. So they had a few questions about what content they need to give us and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is interesting. We then talked about emails and the follow-up process. Now that's a whole different conversation, but that, again, it's an IOI. So they're talking about who follows up the leads. Well, they do. Okay. So again, they were talking about that, which again, they're putting themselves in the mindset of a successful project. Leads are coming in, great. They then spoke about what they've done already and why it's not worked. What they've been running is local advertising. They did a bit of radio and they've done a tiny bit of local magazines. I got down to the root of what they're paying for that magazine and how much that costs for 6 months, and it was quite an amazing fee, really. So we got all these things, all these are questions. I haven't even literally not finished the presentation at this point. So I'm thinking, well, I don't need to cover off questions at the end, and I don't even need to cover some slides because they've done all the talking for me. So really, really interesting. Once I got to the end of it, the conversation was just flowing. And at that point, I gave my fee. Now, how I delivered my fee was not on the presentation. There was not a slide on this presentation that said, we are a retaining fee of $1,500, or in this case, $1,100 a month. Okay, that was never on the presentation deliberately. Nor was the ad spend, because again, those two things are separate. So your fee is your fee, and they pay you the fee that is yours to manage the ad spend they have with the platform. So it's really, really simple. So it's two separate fees, but never on the presentation was that mentioned. I mentioned it in person. So I literally would come out with it, and we were talking about the services and lead gen and how it can benefit their brand and how many people are going to see the ads and how people on Instagram locally are going to love what they have to offer. We went down all that road with all of that. So when it gets to it, how much is the service going to cost? You have to, don't tinker around it. And there's videos we talk about this, Harry, isn't there?
Mm.
Don't tinker around the price. I just said, well, look, we are, and I went with a higher fee. So we are $1,300 a month retaining fee, and you're going to need $700, $800, $1,000 a month with the platform. That could be TikTok, YouTube, Meta, whatever. That then you don't say anything. So once you deliver your price, we always say this, you just shut up and be quiet. I was quiet, and it was met initially with, yeah, right, that's a bit more than we thought. Well, of course it is, because if they had it their way, it would be £200 a month for us, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So every time we give a fee, we know it's more than they expect because they don't know what to expect. So we had that. I had that reaction. I then literally, without going into line by line of what was said, I could tell that I wasn't going to walk away with an answer there and then based on the fee I had of $1,300. So me and you always we have maybe 3 different price points, don't we, that we go into as backups, worth having. What's your highest? What's your middle? What's your lowest? You never want to go at the lowest, although we have to get the deal sometimes. But if we go at the lowest, we will cap or bring back some service. So we may not offer the social media managing as an example, but you do want to pitch yourself in a B, C category, and you want to be settling on B price point. Now that's exactly what we did here. So I turned to the person and said, look, I want to leave here knowing that my brand and your brand are going to work together. So the best I can do is 1,100 for our service, which means over the course of 4 months, because me and Harry offer 4 months 4-month contracts. Over the course of 4 months, you're going to save £800, $800 over 4 months, which is a good deal. That's like having a month's worth of ad spend for free.
Yeah.
And now when you pitch it like that, I'm giving something to them on the term that when I leave the building, I need a definitive answer. So this is kind of for now. And long story short, that was really, they then ummed and ahed. There was no question about the second fee. None. I didn't get questioned on it at all. I was prepared to go at that fee anyway. It's actually more than I thought we'd get it at. And they said, yeah, looking forward to getting going on it all. We can make it work. We've got that in the budget. 1,100 for you, plus 700, £800. I think we settled on for ad spend. We're talking 2K a month, maybe 2.1 a month. They knew that is their investment. So it's just over 10K is what they are spending as a business per month.
Yeah.
Fine.
And then
over the 4 months, sorry.
Yeah. And then we sent over the contract straight away. They signed the agreement, and then we send them an invoice, and they paid that as well. I think what's so important there, which I think one of the biggest takeaways of that, what you've just explained there, is that it's so important that your presentation changes massively depending on the business. And what I mean by that is you went in there with a 6-slide presentation because you knew that they were switched on about marketing. They kind of understood. They were clever. They understood the processes and what happens. Sometimes you'll get a business where they don't even know what Facebook is. They don't even know what Facebook page is. So you'll have to lengthen the presentation to educate them and really supply that side of the value, which you didn't need to do in that meeting. Then again, when it comes to pricing, when we go to certain to certain industries where it's kind of this package of products or nothing. For example, our dental packages, a lot of the time we will put the price on there just because we know that's exactly what they need, and we probably won't work with them unless they have all of it, because then the strategy is just not going to work. For example, with a dentist, they have to have funnels, SMS, email marketing, and ads. Otherwise, we just, out of experience of working with so many of them, we know it's not going to work. So that is the price. In terms of packages, the reason why we don't put packages on there is for many different reasons, isn't it? It's like you don't want them to be able to just choose the lowest option, because a lot of the time they will, but they'll be like, right, I'm going to choose the lowest options to try it out, and then we can move ahead if not. But that lowest option isn't always the best way to get them the maximum amount of results.
Yeah, completely agreed. We don't do the packages. We know what we offer, and we know how much time and value that is to us. So we price that accordingly.
Yeah, and we don't want to sell a bronze package or a basic package to someone, knowing full well that that's not going to get them the maximum results. I'd rather not work with them, because when the results don't come in, it's going to be impossible for me to not go to them. Well, it's because you chose the cheapest package, and that's not their fault. You shouldn't have offered something that's not going to get them the maximum results. We would never take on a client unless they're going to get the maximum results possible.
Yeah,
so
completely agreed.
So yeah, I think people find that really useful, mate. Like we've this week closed 4 clients from cold calling, and actually all of them have been from cold calling, haven't they? All from cold calling. Signed 4 clients, added 5K a month in monthly reoccurring revenue for the next 4 months at least. There's the potential of them carrying on when we get them really good results. But that's a prime example where we've spotted a billboard on the street, we've rang them there and then, got a meeting the next week, and signed them. Like, that's how easy it is. And if you're thinking, go on, mate.
Yeah, go on. No, I was going to say, what's really interesting, mate, is at the end of the meeting, we all shook hands and we were chatting about families, and I'm a local person to them, so we had much more in common. But at the end of the meeting, they said, "Oh, do you know what? I can so and so downstairs needs marketing. I'll introduce you to him." Now, that's a referral. That's not gone any further. So, the guy wasn't available to see us, but he will be available to see us. And it's an e-com brand. So it's great. It's different for us. We have e-com, but it's a different type of client. But this person was willing to refer us without even fucking working with us.
It's
absolutely mad, which showed the level of impression that he gave that person.
Yeah.
I think that's all that is.
Yeah, I think the only reason why they signed with us, they would have been pitched marketing loads of times. They would have worked with us because you stood out as a person. You stood out as an articulate, educated, supplied loads of value in the meeting. Yes, the presentation helps because it converts like fucking crazy, and it's an unbelievable presentation, and the offer that we have and that we teach our academy students is incredible. But really, the bottom line of it comes down to you. Like, they could have been pitched by tens and hundreds of people that are viewing this video, but would they have worked with them? Who knows? Depends how good they are. But the bottom line is, everyone's offering the same service. Everyone's offering Facebook ads. Everyone's offering Instagram ads. Everyone's offering YouTube ads. Whatever it is, they're buying in to you as a person, which is why it's so important that your sales skills are on point and you can develop them. That's a skill that you can learn, that we teach. But it's how you stand out, it's how you connect with them, how you resonate with them, how you build authority with them. If you're going to after a business, that example was a local business that Tom lived right around the corner from. But that's no different if you just cold calling someone that you see on LinkedIn or from Google. You can build that kind of that mutual connection in different ways other than being location, close to them in location. What football team do they support? Like, find out these personal things about them in that initial 15 minutes of small talk, and then connect with them on that basis. That's going to really, really help.
And you can do, like, being face-to-face is important because you get body language and you get to really understand someone much, much better face-to-face. But actually, everything I've just talked about in that meeting, I've done over Zoom. Yeah. So it's no different. It's just, it's a slightly speedier process, but during the pandemic, that's when we won a huge amount of business, and we didn't see a single client face to face for about a year. So
exactly, and 50% of our clients are in the US anyway, so we don't fly to America to close these people. So that's it's just an example. But I think
there we go.
Yeah. Well, hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you've not watched our previous video, it's on how to literally steal clients away from other agencies and get those clients to work with you rather than those other agencies. So if you've not watched that, click that video, give it a watch. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment if you want, if you have any video suggestions, because we're releasing videos every day. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.